I'm on a quest to have a second healthy baby, and that means I'm not putting any toxins, any fragrances in my body, and that's where Caraway Home cookware and their Tupperware come into play. Right now, when you use my code TSFS at carawayhome.com, you get 10% off. I'm sure you're like, Sarah, what are you talking about? Well, Caraway products are non-toxic. That means they have no PFAs, PTFEs, those forever chemicals that are extremely hard to pronounce. And I just ordered their storage containers in navy. Oh, and hello, they don't have any toxic chemicals either. Don't believe me? Go and read their 5-star reviews. Over 65,000 people have rated them 5 stars. Visit carawayhome.com/TSFS to take advantage of this limited time offer for 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive to Sarah Fraser Show listeners, so support my show and visit carawayhome.com/TSFS or use code TSFS at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern.
In an election year guaranteed to divide us.
This is a debacle.
Finally, a second term we can all agree on.
Yes!
Comedy Central's The Daily Show. Mondays with Jon Stewart. Tonight at 11, 10 Central on Comedy Central. And next day on Paramount+.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
All right, everybody, welcome to a brand new Sarah Fraser Show, and you guys wanted it, so we're doing it. We're starting at the beginning while we wait for the end of Sister Wives. That is right. I'm going back to season 1 and reviewing season 1. I hope you'll join me. Tell a friend. I have a Reddit. We can continue the conversation at reddit.com/r/the Sarah Fraser Show. I'm obsessed with this show. You guys already know I've long time been in the TLC family, and I got on board with Sister Wives a couple years ago, and then season 18 solidified for me why this show is arguably one of the greatest reality shows of all time. Of all time. It is rare for a reality show to in season 18 to grow in the ratings. And we learned that this past season of Sister Wives had the highest viewership it has had in 5 years. So I loved it. I was obsessed. Of course, season 18 was just iconic because all of Kody Brown's wives left him except for Robyn. So like, all right, well, that's it. That's a wrap. So, you know, I want to go back and start reviewing, and we are doing season 1, episode 1, Meet Kody and the Wives. So just to kind of paint the picture for you guys, this show started in 2010. That is when season 1 launched. And if you noticed, the first 20 minutes of this episode were the pilot of it, okay? And so, because a lot of people feel like it was almost like shot a little bit differently. The second half, you're seeing Christine, like more of the family, brought into it. And that's because the first half was the pilot, which was initially rejected by TLC. But Kody and the women went back to TLC and actually said, well, the other part of our story is we're introducing a fourth wife. And when TLC heard that, that is how Sister Wives was in fact born. They were interested. They wanted to, I know everybody hates Robyn, but Robyn sort of saved the show. From the beginning, if it wasn't for the introduction of Robyn, we never would have had a Sister Wives. So the show does start a little slow, which is honestly a prelude for the entire damn thing, right? The entire damn show is slow. This year has been the most action because we had Christine get married. We had, Barn Dominium Gate where Kody said, well, Meri, I'll never be interested in you, but I want to build this barn dominium where I keep all of my ATVs and all of my toys and you can live above it. Anyway, she rejected that. But isn't it wild to go back? It's so crazy to go back to this episode and see how happy they were, how open and happy Kody was. A lot of people describe the opening scene of Kody Brown in season 1 of Sister Wives as almost like a puppy meeting other dogs for the first time. I can't take credit for this analogy, okay? I think it's on Reddit. But what a different Kody Brown. Open to the camera. And, I mean, full circle moment. The very first scene of this Sister Wives is opened with Kody in that infamous, famous Lexus convertible that he has, 2-door. He's in it. He's like, I want you to come meet my family. I'm a polygamist. More wives, the better. And we drive up to their home and we see him get out in Utah. And he is introducing us to the very first time to Meri, Janelle, and Christine, and talking to us and setting the scene of what Sister Wives is. So from just the opening, we have the opening credits of Sister Wives. You have the 3 rings. They're all united together, meaning the iconic Sister Wives show emblem is of the rings. Now, of course, it's shattered. It's evolved. But that Lexus that he just sold this year after having it for, 14 years, because the show has been on the air since 2010. And we're introduced to the family. We meet Meri. We hear a little bit about, how he and Meri met when they were younger. Very young, like 19 years old. Obviously, Kody was introduced to polygamy later in life. His father took wives later. Meri had always been in a polygamous family, so she was around it. She knew it. And Kody knew that he wanted to be a part of the lifestyle. We find that out in episode 1. We walk into Meri's house. We know that the house, they all live under one roof, which, as you guys know who have already watched, or if you haven't, you will see as the years go on and they live in separate homes, that's often credited as one of the main factors as to why this family broke up. Okay, but in season 1, they're all living together, which makes this extremely unique. Christine is pregnant with Truly. Isn't that wild? And they, at this point in season 1, which I forget, they've all been married like 16 years. They've all had full marriages because, of course, they got married, Meri and Kody, when they were like 19. And then the women were, came along a couple years after that. But Christine has been married at this point, season 1, in 2010 to Kody for already 16 years the women have been together. Now, we know at this point, Kody opens up, he's in advertising. If you haven't followed this is like a very controversial part of the show because he's always been in selling guns, which is legal, but people have had various thoughts about that. He sold them until 2004. He was the head of a gun company. Then he shifted gears, did some other sales stuff, got on TV. And as recently as just a couple years ago, he was seen at a gun show. Peyton Brown confirmed on his TikTok this year that Kody does have a job outside of the show, but did not mention that. They all seem to be quite quiet about what Kody does, which leads a lot of people to believe he still sells guns, which are legal, whether you agree with it or not. But we see him. We find out that Meri's dad had 5 freaking wives. We also see a part of Meri, which is interesting. We're introduced to Meri and Kody's only daughter at the time. Now she's Leon and identifies as a they, but then was Mariah. And Kody and Meri seem quite open, I use that in quotes, because Meri says she doesn't care what her child becomes or any of the kids become. She wants them to be happy. And, she talks about the family dynamic and, how it's great to be around all these children because she and Kody have just one biological child together. Kody and Christine's lack of chemistry. That's what a lot of people notice when they watch season 1, episode 1 from the start. Their lack of chemistry seems to be so obvious. I have to say, it's hard to know. I feel as though I would not have noticed their lack of chemistry unless I'd already watched season 18 and knew how it fell apart. But a lot of people feel like Christine definitely did a lot of foreshadowing in this. And one of the biggest things that she foreshadowed is that she almost she wanted to be the third. She always wanted to be the third wife, because there's a saying in polygamy, this is according to the episode, that if you have two wives, if a man has two wives and things are not going well, bring a third in. I didn't think the episode did a good job of explaining that, except for, I don't know what, like maybe it's just now there's like the women get off the guy's back because there's a third woman there, and then they become angry at her. I mean, I don't understand how this helps the dynamic. And certainly a fourth, we know it doesn't work. And now they ain't even polygamous. But at the time, in episode 1, they're showing us the joys of polygamy. So many wives. The wives are like working or all raising and taking and schooling the kids. And, you know, the only real fight they have is they all want to be with Kody at night, and he's bed hopping, but they're all under the same roof and chopping trees together, and it's so great. Now, a lot of people feel as though the chemistry was off with Kody and Christine. I think the moment where Christine did the foreshadowing is Christine says in this episode, I want to be the third wife because the third wife has it the easiest. The first wife, there's this like legacy, and she's the one that's actually married to him. And then the second wife comes in, and the second wife, there's always this layer of you know, maybe competitiveness or jealousy between wife 1 and wife 2. And then the third wife comes in, and the family is already set, and everybody's familiar with the dynamics, and I get to have the easy position. And I mean, could that have not been further from the truth? I feel like that woman was the trailblazer, and also for years lived with a man who openly was not sexually attracted to her, and they were like oil and water. Then I love how Meri, the other scene that was so interesting, because that moment really caught my ear. And then I love that Meri says that we don't get weird talking about their nighttime routine and if they hook up with each other or all at once in the same bed with Kody. Okay, you're a polygamist, and that's weird enough. But Meri's sort of making this proclamation in episode 1. This is a scene. They're all sitting on the first time all together on the sofa as sister wives, and somehow it comes up like, oh, but we never share beds of Christine and Meri and myself in bed with Kody. Or whatever, Janelle and Christine and I never get all in bed with Kody together. We're not weird like that. All right, sweetie, polygamy's odd enough, okay? You're on a show with a guy with multiple wives, all right? Now, one of the things I do think is interesting to watch, and I'm curious what you guys think. Isn't it strange to watch a show? And isn't this how messed up our society is? To watch a show where the women haven't had so much plastic surgery. It's odd. Did anyone else notice this? They've been on TV for 14 years, started in 2010. None of them look like they've had any plastic surgery until recently. I feel a little bit like Meri's getting into a little bit of the Botox. Christine looks good. Christine seems like she's taking care of her skin, her wellness routine a little bit more. But isn't it odd? I think they look great. I mean, 14 years ago, they were in their early 40s. Now, I mean, I actually surprisingly think they look great. And it's really, I think, empowering. And one of the things that goes overlooked is all of them. And I give Kody credit for this, although there's rumors he's had plastic surgery or uses Botox. It's actually quite refreshing to see them on TV without completely morphing into somebody else and using a ton of plastic surgery. We learn more and more as the episode goes on. Meri met Kody through her sister, and we begin to get a glimpse into Meri's baby journey, right? That they've been trying, they've only been blessed with one child, and then as we learn as the episodes go on and the seasons go on, that Meri's had miscarriages, and I have to imagine, and I think as a woman that's gone through 3 miscarriages myself, I want to hear more from Meri of how, was that really difficult? Seeing these other women, I mean, Janelle, Christine, have 5, 6 pregnancies, or were you just a part of the family and it was sad in the moment, but you felt so surrounded by the kids? We know that Janelle, the second wife, meets Kody at 22, didn't know anything about polygamy, knew nothing about it. and comes into the family. Starts having children with Kody. Logan is their oldest child. You know, you see Logan around the house, and it's going to be interesting. I have to do more research because Logan is no longer on the show. Seems to live a fairly quiet profile. We see in the show he's helping out a lot with the children and making meals and eggs and talking about how he's getting the kids up and ready to go. And we find out with Janelle that she works outside the home, and she's thrilled to do that. She is happy to do it and is a career woman and not a stay-at-home mom like Christine, who the second half of the show, we really see Christine running, educating the kids. They're homeschooled at this point. Homeschooled, educating the kids, taking care of them nonstop. There you have it. Okay, but before I get into, the really the beginning of the end, the real moment, which is Kody. And the whole time they're teasing the second half of the show that they have this announcement. They have this big announcement that they're going to be making to the family. Okay, so we're all surprised. So before I get into that big announcement, quick thanking our sponsor. Thanks to you guys. It means so much to me that you listen to my ads and you purchase from my sponsors. This is my full-time job. I try to give you free shows because I don't know about you, but I do not want many more subscriptions in my life. So every time that you purchase from my sponsors, it means everything to me. And OneSkin is one of those sponsors that you guys are loving. OneSkin, right now, when you use the code TSFS, you are getting 15% off your OneSkin order. Go to oneskin.code and use code TSFS. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about the show. Please say the Sarah Fraser Show and support this podcast. What is amazing about OneSkin is it gets cellular, baby. More than any other skincare company, and I've been using it. You can go to my YouTube and see. I use their eye cream and their incredible facial cream, which does not have any fragrance, and I love that. As somebody trying to get pregnant, going fragrance-free is one of the best things you can do for your body because fragrances can actually disrupt the hormones in your body that help you procreate. OneSkin gets to the source with their scientific OS01 peptide, which is proprietary to OneSkin. There they get to the cell level, and those notorious zombie cells that contribute to skin aging, they can stop right there with their penetrating creams. Go to their website, as I mentioned today, and start looking better. OneSkin.co. OneSkin is more than skincare. It's about skincare longevity, targeting the root cause of aging to help you look and feel your best, baby, at every age. Get started today with 15% off using code TSFS at OneSkin.co. It's time to expect more from your OneSkin care routine. Invest in the health of your skin with OneSkin. All right. So then the second half of the episode, which we know, the first half is the pilot, and it was not that interesting for a lot of people, including the network, until they are introduced to this tease. We hear this tease. Kody's got a big announcement. It's got a big family announcement. But before that, there's this great scene where they're all out in the backyard cutting down trees. When's the last time on a reality show? I mean, unless it's like an HGTV show where they're going to make a bench out of some wood stump, that you've seen the family outside cutting trees and raking brush. I mean, isn't it wild to think that in 2010 that was a scene? They're all out there. They're kind of riffing on each other. Kody talks about speaking to his dogs and how they can answer to him, and everybody's looking at him sideways. He's literally saying that the pet family dogs, he speaks to them and he can tell that they speak back. And, you can kind of already, I guess, in these scenes, that's where people begin. They feel like they see the disconnect between Christine and Janelle and Kody. For me, I didn't see that. I mean, he even seems so loving to Meri in these first episodes. And then they come in from doing the brush and they're talking about the big family meeting. We also see Janelle's morning routine where she's burning toast in the oven because she's afraid she has a phobia of toasters. So she won't put toast. She has to cook, by the way, for 12 kids. She won't make toast in toasters because more people die of toasters every year than shark attacks. Yeah. And so we're seeing Christine making the toast, burning the toast. The home is a mess. She's pregnant with Truly. And Then we are introduced to, as the show begins to wrap up, after we've met all the kids, we are told that Kody has been courting a woman that is going to be the fourth wife. You know, and he sits the kids down and he wants to know if the kids are excited about this and how they'll feel, because Robyn, we know, already had children from her first marriage with David, which broke up and there was alleged abuse. We'll get into all that as the seasons go on. But he is so excited. Now, again, I think it's fun to see him happy. It's fun to see them all happy. They seem so happy to share with the world their polygamy lifestyle. They're all about it. They seem copacetic with Meri and supportive. And they're, you know, the only thing is they're just sad because they all want him every night and they can't have him. Can you imagine? This is a far departure from like the women, how they're not attracted to him at all 14 years later. And you know, he's sitting the kids down, and it's so interesting because his daughter, Leon, well, his son, Leon, or at the time, Mariah, is like already red flags with Robyn. Like, she's not sure she wants Robyn because he's asking all the kids, do you want Robyn in the mix? I'm gonna be bringing in you're gonna have new siblings, and some of them are like, yeah, and some of them, and Mariah's like, no, it's fine the way it is. All right. And we see him head off because we know Robyn lives 4 hours away. He is heading off to see Robyn and go out on their very first date on camera. I mean, I do have to say to the producers, what television gold? I mean, did they know? Did they have an inkling behind the scenes that all these women were sort of pining that maybe a fourth wife wasn't a good idea? Now, initially at this family meeting, it seems that everybody's excited. Janelle's excited. That's what polygamy is, right? It's expanding your family. And it had been many years. I mean, I really wonder too, because there is that Kody, you know, apparently wanted, or Kody is the one that went back to the show and said, well, I have this fourth wife. I'm going to be introducing this fourth wife. You're not going to want to miss this. And, you know, we know too from Christine, because she's done a recent interview with Heather McDonald, that initially it was going to be a documentary, but they didn't want it to be a full documentary because they were worried at the time polygamy, you know, was illegal. I mean, it still is, but it's not, nobody prosecutes it now. So they, you know, it's not really a crime. And I know it's been decriminalized too, which they talked about this year on this season. But you got to wonder how they knew it was going to be. Did the producers see how in love he was with Robyn compared to the dynamic that he had with the other women? And they just knew. They were like, hang on. Because season 1, I'll tell you, and we're obviously going to be recapping episode by episode every single Monday. Season 1, the betrayals begin, is at least what a lot of fans believe. So it's wild to go back and watch this show, watch the kids. The kids are so young. Peyton and Hunter and Logan, they're all so young. And I mean, truly, the last child that Kody and Christine had together, they were pregnant with her. The kids are feeling her in Christine's belly. Christine's talking about being a stay-at-home mom and educating the kids. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And they all live under one roof. And they actually are quite neat. I was impressed by that. And they're all very, well, actually, isn't it amazing how much weight Janelle has lost? Be who you are. I mean, I don't care what your weight is, as long as you're happy and healthy. But Janelle is like completely transformed. Meri's transformed. I actually think Christine kind of looks the most, that really, I actually think Christine's aged like amazingly well. Anyhow, what did you think of episode 1? Did you see other foreshadowing? A lot of people go back and watch season 1, episode 1 from ground zero, and they really feel they saw the writing on the wall. What other signs did you see? To me, it was more Christine predicting, I have it easy in this marriage. I have it easy. And, you know, I really thought that was the beginning. But I was amazed. Kody's likable. Kody's enjoyable, likable in this episode. Like I said, I'm always on TikTok at The Sarah Fraser Show or on Reddit, reddit.com/r/The Sarah Fraser Show. We can continue the conversation there. And I'll see you next week for season 1, episode 2 of Sister Wives. Bye, everybody.